I contend, while still not a whole ton of people have seen it, and I was very late to the party on it, I think easily the best sitcom of the recent era, and hell, I'll go so far as to say maybe the best sitcom ever, is the Canadian-produced Eugene and Daniel Levy show, Schitt's Creek, which was a little show that I missed out on because it was airing on CBC in Canada while I was down here. I caught on to it when it got into the third season, and Ann and I tore through this show. And then in its final season, it did the unthinkable at the Emmys, where it literally swept, the first show ever to literally sweep every single category. It won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Comedy Series, Best Direction, Best Writing. It swept every single award, and deservedly so. The Crows Have Eyes is a movie to this day I need to see. Only people who have seen Schitt's Creek will know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. My heart has had a Schitt's Creek shaped hole in it ever since this show went off the air. It is one of the most hilariously funny, but endearingly touching, beautiful shows. You know, every once in a while, a movie comes out. I remember the Lupita Nyong'o film, The Queen of Kotwe, came out. And Schitt's Creek reminds me a little bit of that. A show that had no villain, just like that movie had no villain. It was just a show about good people doing good things. And some flawed people, which, the Roses were. The Roses were flawed people, yes. But just a show about good people doing good things. And it just, oh my God, I love this show. I loved it so much. Anyway, a lot of people have been asking and begging, me included, begging for this show to come back. And now, as Eugene Levy gets ready to launch his own Apple Plus show about food around the world sort of thing, Eugene Levy, iconic Canadian performer, gave the first little glimmers of hope that maybe we could see a return of Schitt's Creek. He said this comes from IndieWire, and Eugene Levy says this: I know my son Daniel, who was the writer and, Eugene did some writing on it, who was a writer and director of the show and a producer of the show. I know my son Daniel has said this: we'd love to get together with these people again and take the show and the characters to yet another level, Levy said. There's nothing in the works right now, to be honest with you, but we've never stopped thinking about what might happen down the line. We're certainly open to anything. I think when the idea that is the right idea presents itself, we'll probably act on it, I guess, says Eugene Levy. All right. I'll tell you why this needs to happen. Besides the fact that in a dark world, bright shining lights of shows like Schitt's Creek need to exist, and besides the fact that this show ended by setting all types of Emmy records, and the show ended narratively in a place that we were all wanting to see what happened next. Like, what happens next when they leave Schitt's Creek, and what happens after that? On top of all that, while Daniel Levy is an insane, unique talent, he hasn't blown up the way I think a lot of people thought he deserves to blow up, right? Now, granted, he's still got a lot of irons in the fire and all that kind of stuff, but it could be very tempting for Daniel, obviously for Eugene and the other cast as well, to come back and, get in the limelight again. Because, and listen, returning shows has been all the rage, both in movies, Top Gun, and on television. Frasier's coming back. I mean, it's been all the rage, and no show deserves, and nay, I would say no show is needed as much as a show like Schitt's Creek possibly returning. I love this comment from Eugene Levy. I believe it is. That's a father and son right there. I mean, look at those two. I do believe this thing is going to happen. By the way,
Taylor, we found your dad.
We really did.
Eugene's daughter was one of the stars of the show as well. Daniel's sister, she played the girl who worked at the not the cafeteria, the restaurant.
Yeah.
The main one at the restaurant. She was great in it too. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. I know you appreciated this show as well. When you hear, look, it's somebody like me who is a big fan of this, reading too much into what Eugene's saying, or does it legitimately sound like, yeah, this sounds like something they're going to do?
I do think it sounds like that great PR little sound clip of, if the timing's right and the scripts are great, of course we do it. We are a literal family. Why wouldn't we? And I feel like This, again, was another show that really knew how to have a solid ending. When you watch this show, they told the story that needed to be told. It ends on such a high note. It's so beautifully done. It's such a well-executed series that I wonder if going back to this would really just kind of dilute the property and take away some of its splendor, right? It's like that final seasons of Scrubs where we all went, why is this happening? What is this? I understand it's a backdoor pilot, but I don't want it. Get out of here. Just end where you end. So I feel like with especially Daniel Levy, he's doing a lot of other projects. They might not be as huge as Schitt's Creek, right? He's doing a lot of hosting again. He's producing things. He's got an eyewear line. He's doing a lot of other stuff. He's directing too. That's correct. And Eugene Levy has his new Apple series. That's the very kind of like idiot abroad concept of him looking at all these different hotels and exploring the world as somebody who's a bit curmudgeon-y. So I don't see this happening anytime soon.
Rob, what do you think? You read Eugene Levy's comments here. Do you think this is something that could actually happen?
Well, this is an actual sitcom that I've watched.
Yeah,
I watch it with Elizabeth, and
you haven't watched a lot of sitcoms.
No, and I really like. It was one of these things where she was watching it. I sat down, and you can't not get sucked into the show because it is genuine. It's warm and it's funny, and the characters are great. And I love the whole situation. And I really, Dan Levy is an incredible performer. And I love you. I've always loved Eugene Levy, and I could absolutely see. I could see this show coming back, and they'll reinvent it because I don't think it'll be called Schitt's Creek.
Right.
I think it'll be called something else, and they're going to go do something new and unique. But I don't think they're going to do it. It strikes me as they're going to have the first season like all written out. They're not going to hire a writer's room. They're going to already know, like they're already going to know what they're going to do. And when we get it, it'll either be like I think a limited series or something. And
I agree. I think it would be probably a limited series.
A limited series, like a 10-episode something that they're going to, and they'll see where it goes from there. And in a way, they could turn this. This is a great property to do that with.
By the way, I nearly cried at this scene.
Oh,
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
This show
and
made me cry
I could
so
see
much.
that happening. So,
By the way, no, this won't mean anything to anybody who hasn't seen the show, but I believe it was in the final episode. It was either in the final episode or the second final episode. I always talk about in movies, the single hardest I've ever laughed in anything is in Spaceballs when Dark Helmet says, now you see the evil always triumph because good is dumb. I've never laughed harder in a movie theater. I don't think I've ever laughed harder in a television series than Daniel Levy's fiance got him a massage for the day of the wedding, not realizing that he got his fiance a happy ending massage. And Daniel's like, no, it didn't happen. And then he looks at the girl who's his best friend, and she's like, and she was just like, I mean, it was like there was no dialogue, no line. I almost died laughing so hard. Like I seriously thought I farted, had a drip of urine come out, and almost choked. I was laughing so hard all at the same time.
Nolan, make John laugh.
Yeah,
Well, it's so worth it for that little like comeback then of in the vows of you're my happy ending.
oh my God.
So
yeah.
good.
This is
so well
just
done.
the writing of this show.
He's
was
so talented.
So next level. And I'll tell you what, every Halloween since, somebody has done a Moira in the Croning costumes. You always see at Halloween somebody dressed up as Moira in the Croning, and it always makes my heart smile when I do. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Eugene Levy is talking about, hey, we'll do this. We will do this. And talking about if the right script comes along, they're the ones who write the script. So I think this is going to happen. I hope I do, but maybe Chris is right. Maybe I'm being a little bit too optimistic. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know I made the switch over to Mint Mobile a while ago. The process couldn't have been easier, and I can't believe that I am spending less than a third of what I was spending on one of the other major carriers before. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea.